like to know your point of view.
Hi everyone. Welcome to Evening TV and No Radio Show. People report back to me what's going on, and so I am aware, and I'm totally fine. There's, not in the least bit worried about anything to do with that. I'm going to be fine regardless. But what I do worry about is first of all, I want to say that it's really sad, and I'm really just, I feel really bad about that. I feel really bad that it's going on. This is the thing about that's really kind of sad, is that I thought maybe she could be a friend of mine. What I realized through the experience was that she is very, very eager to create this perception of all this friendship and stuff that went on there, but the truth was that she was completely unavailable to give or receive any genuine friendship. And so, I'll basically show you what I mean when in my next video. That's going to be basically just a play by play, and then that's going to be the last thing I'm going to say about the meetup. I'm not going to say anything more about it. But I do, because there was indication, I guess, that she's planning other ones and things like that. And my whole point of even putting this out there in the first place was that I wanted to make sure that there were no more victims, that there was not going to be another setup, because this situation that happened was easily preventable. It was very easily preventable, and it's just been it was not prevented, and then because of who she is, she can't learn from this mistake because she can't admit the mistake. She was admitting that there was a problem, as you heard in the video that I made. She was admitting there was a problem, but now she's not even doing that. Now she is completely backed out. She's saying there wasn't even a problem, and so it is most definitely another dangerous situation because she didn't learn from the mistakes that she made, and is just plowing forward and unable to learn from it and figure out how to change it, because the things that should have been changed were very simple to change. The things that went wrong were simple no-brainers to have gotten right. And so and I have another collab that I'm going to be doing, hopefully, about meetups, and about this person's like a kind of a meetup specialist, and we're going to talk about how what really is supposed to happen, and how meetups should be done, and how to keep yourself safe going to a meetup. So that's coming up, but this video really is just to basically check in with you. The effectiveness of it all depends on the person taking it in, the third party. So all I ask is that you guys, just to protect yourselves, that you just check everything out. You go with, what do I know for sure? What could I, what have I seen? What can I prove? I've not ever had any conflicts with anybody on YouTube or anything like that. So this is a new thing for me. I have only ever been attacked by one other person. That was during my divorce, and so that was the only time I've been on a smear campaign. And so that was a long time ago. It was like, sheesh, that was over in 2005. So that went on for about from about 2001 or 2 to 2005, and then that was over. And so it's been a long time since and I've healed and been only around healthy people. I haven't been around this kind of toxicity in my life. And so it is, not that I'm around it, I'm not around it, but even just hearing it, even just having anything to do with it is takes me back. It takes me back, and I remember it, and it's like, oh my gosh, life is so simple without this in it, without that kind of stuff in it. And I knew that. I knew that this would happen. I absolutely knew this would happen. It was completely predictable when I brought this up. But I didn't have any choice. I really still absolutely feel that I don't have any choice. There's no surprises for me here. There are no surprises for me here. I knew what I needed to do. I knew that this would happen. I would rather not have a channel at all than have one where I couldn't say, there's somebody abusing people, or there's somebody really great that just got lost their channel and they should be brought back. I'd rather not have a channel at all than not be able to say those things. And so I don't know. I don't understand the silence that people, especially because, once this kind of broke open, it was a floodgate, and there were all kinds of people coming forward. And so, victims coming forward with things that they had experienced. And so this is an ongoing problem. The fact that again, it didn't happen to me. I just saw it, and no one else was going to do anything. And so I had to do something. Otherwise, there would be these two people out there that clearly. Now, here's the thing I do feel kind of good about is that as far as this person goes, everything that I would say against her is pretty much public information. I mean, most everything you've all seen. She's not doing this privately. The stuff she's doing it publicly, right on the internet. And so it's things like this. It's things like she'll, completely come out and call me a criminal, call me a lifelong felon, tell people I'm using a fake name, all this kind of stuff. And oh, this is really a choice one. Apparently, she said that I made it all up about my son dying. I mean, who does that, right? Exactly. Who does that kind of thing? Well, we know who does that kind of thing. A person who's really disordered does that kind of thing. And so she said these things. Those things we have proof of, and they're all untrue. They're all completely untrue. And so I can prove they're not true. Latent, obviously not true. And so if a person will make bold-faced lies like that about things that you can easily prove are not true, what else are they lying about? And what has basically come forth is that she's lying about just about everything. Everything that she said to me has turned out to be a lie. Every single thing. And I could go down the list of just about well, that's not true. I take that back. That is not true. But I do believe that Trevor existed. And I do believe, according to what her son said, that he was not a super great guy. I believe that stuff. I don't think that there's, the stuff that she said about her, collabs being, unpaid, that's not that's all not true. She completely, fabricated that. People were paying her. She had an agreement with people to pay her to do basically what looks like a collab on her channel. And people are trying to get refunded for money for services not rendered and things like that. And there's just a whole bunch of problems. And problems basically just follow these two people. And that's not true. That's not a common thing. Trouble just doesn't follow everybody. It doesn't follow me. I don't have any secrets. And it must be, this is the other thing too, is who digs up dirt? I have, even with her doing all that, even with them digging up dirt and all that, I have not even done that. And I guess she knows that I won't because she knows, I don't know. But I mean, the thing that they have on us is that they are really driven, really, really driven, because first of all, they get narc supply out of it. Either way, they get narc supply out of the whole challenge, the whole chaos, the whole conflict. So while we're drained and we just want peace, they love it. They love it. And that's why there's always a conflict. That's what they're always in conflict with somebody. The reason people don't want to get involved with it is because they know how exhausting it is. Because they know that these guys are relentless. Because two reasons. One, they're relentless because they risk exposure. It's like a death to them. If they lose this false identity, they don't know what to do. I mean, this is who they are. And they won't know what to do. They lose it. It's like they disappear. They're getting erased. And that, it's like a death. They cannot have that. And they will fight like they're fighting for their life, to fight for their false reality, to fight for their lies. And it's good enough. It's good enough usually if you just go along with it. If they know that you're going along with it, usually that's good enough. As long as you can do a good enough job of convincing them that you really are going along with it. So the genuine, sincere, authentic relationships don't exist. They are perfectly okay with coercing you into pretending, emotionally blackmailing you into saying that they are a good person or whatever. Is fine with them. As long as they can create the illusion on the outside, they are fine with that. It doesn't have to be authentic and genuine for them at all. In fact, it can't be. This is the thing that I realized with friendship, was that, she plays up this thing about wanting friends and she can really talk it up. In reality, she was just completely unavailable. Before I met her, I went there genuinely expecting to make a friend and, having all this openness about it. And I don't think even knew how she got in her own way. I mean, absolutely got in her own way as far as making it possible to really make a friendship with me. And this was, by and it wasn't only me. She did the same thing, like not showing up, not being where she said she would be, The person that ended up getting victimized, that was largely because she got just completely ditched. just ditched that day. She just didn't show up, you know? And so it was just sort of this reckless irresponsibility when it came to people, you know? And leaving people feeling, you know, not important or used a little bit, or like, you know, like, why am I going through so much effort when, you know, this person doesn't even care? You know, that's exactly how I felt, you know. And the reason for it is because they don't really want, because they can't really do it. You know, they can't really do it. It's because it requires, you know, to be a real friend, you have to care about someone else's needs. You have to be able to put someone else, you know, before yourself. Sometimes you have to, you know, you have to really be concerned for them and care about who they are and want to get to know who they are and that kind of thing. And a narcissist just doesn't want to do that stuff. So they don't want to be alone. They want to be loved and admired and all of that stuff. And they want the idea of friendship they really love, but they're not really good friends. You know, they're not really good friends. And so the reason that even if none of this stuff happened, if none of this stuff even happened, I was not going to end up being friends because um, she just completely let me know very clearly that it was not a priority to her, that it was, you know, she didn't really value me that much. And it wasn't only me. It was every single woman, every single person at the meetup got stood up by her, every single one of them, every single one, because the the three women got stood up at the meetup. The first thing, the one that she at my house, she didn't show up to, so they all got stood up at that one. That was the kickoff event. And then you know, the next day she was with those three and stood up the other one, and you know, it's like everyone was getting stood up at some point, you know. And so it was just a fantasy, I believe, but it will become true for her. And I want to make sure that everyone understands that it is a fantasy, because if there is another one of these events like this, it will just be another group of people that will waste money going somewhere and end up getting there and not really getting a time to get to know this person, hardly any time to hang out together because of all these various things, and they're petty things, just, you know, just disorganization and lack of communication, and just, you know, her head was clearly somewhere else, you know, just clearly somewhere else. And I was told this before I learned it myself. I was told this by her other people before I'd even met her, and before I, you know, got a chance to assess this all myself. So I think what you'll notice, so apparently she's saying that I am smearing her, which I don't think there's any evidence of that. I think what's clear is that she gets upset with someone, she comes out lashing out at them, and then calls it a smear campaign against her. Now that's what she seems to do. That seems to be her MO, and that appears to be what's happening here. So, you know, I don't have anything that I don't regret anything that I've done. I don't have any thing that I feel badly about. And you know, I am not smearing anybody. I am not at all. I am basically just telling the truth. Oh, another thing that she'll do is she'll completely defame me. I mean, completely say bull-faced lies, and then threaten me, threaten with criminal defamation. It's a pattern. It's like repeating pattern, as I see over time, that this is what, you know, people have shown me, this is what she does. And so that's just the main thing here, is that it's information for all of you. Information for all of you. If you know, this is someone that you trust, I would just be very careful. I would just maybe do a little bit of research and look a little bit deeper, because this is not someone that I would recommend at all. And the behavior is unhealthy, and that has nothing to do with me. The behavior is unhealthy, and you can take me right out of it and just watch her. Just watch her. Just watch what she does. And that's why I'm kind of glad, in a way, it's not so much about the meetup anymore. It's really not about the meetup anymore. We're not going to fix what happened there. We're not going to fix that. The whole thing that this was about, getting people to pay attention to who these people are and preventing future problems. That's the main thing. And then in so doing, I came to really understand that even at least as big a problem as the person who did this thing, just as big a problem is the person who hosted the meetup. And I just came to, but I came to that at the same time I'm hoping all of you did. I mean, almost. I mean, pretty much all of this is based on what behaviors and things that we've all seen here. So not just, it's not something you have to take my word for it. I'm just pointing it out because I said this is what we could do. Since we're in this situation, this has happened, let's go ahead and use this as an opportunity to learn something. So let's study it, so let's study it as a group. And she does offer a really great example of some things. She offers a great example of how they think and how they can get flying monkeys, how they can, and then they are masters of trying to create perceptions. But it's really, really easy to disprove. It's just a matter of getting rid of people knowing to look. And people aren't going to know to look because it's so outrageous. I mean, you wouldn't think to look. You wouldn't think that anyone would be doing this. So unless you had a red flag or something that kind of made you question it from before, and somehow, because, that channel is so much bigger, is the thing. And so the chances of people hearing from me and then going to see her with a discerning, eye, that's unfortunately not the greatest, but I can only do what I can do. So I will just, I'll stick with what I, my story here. I'll put out hard evidence as much as I have and can, and I will talk about it with anybody that wants to talk about it with me, and and that's really all I can do. And I've done, at that point, I feel like I can sleep at night. I've done what I'm supposed to do. If I had not done anything and there were more victims, which there will be more victims, guaranteed. As long as they're here operating, there will be more victims. I mean, there are more victims as we speak. There are more victims right now. People that have, claims against them and things that are not satisfied and things are going wrong. And so, I'm not even the only person that she's smearing. The main thing is that just as soon as someone comes out with any kind of a criticism, and it doesn't have to, this is a big one. I mean, this one I understand. This is a big, I'm challenging, that I didn't start out that way.